Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and in the abandoned ghost town of Rachevci, I think abandoned and ghost town is saying the same thing twice. Well, in the ghost village of Rachevci in the Balkan mountains in Bulgaria, I found a huge ancient mulberry tree. Look at it and just appreciate the size of this. The stem is asymmetrical, but from this side, let's remove a couple of the brambles. From this angle, it's about 1.5, maybe not 1.5, but oh well, yeah. This is well. Let's see, 1.40 meters thick, and when you go around from this side, slightly thinner. A bit over a meter, maybe 1.10 meters. What does it look like from this side? Yep, from this side it's pretty thick again. Let's put a bit of distance. What is this green spray paint mark? When looking at it from a distance, first you see the abandoned houses around here. So it's a veritable Balkan Mountains ghost town. Not abandoned because of wars, but just because of better job and living opportunities in other parts of the country during the communist time. Actually, other parts of the country means sometimes the little town of Treavna, which is just 4 kilometers or less than 3 miles away. And yeah, people abandoned the houses here and abandoned their orchards. And abandoned this old mulberry tree. Now look at the tree itself. See how it has been repeatedly pruned about 2 meters above ground. Then later it has been pruned less often. Those branches grew to 2, 3, 4 more meters, but they have also been pruned from time to time. Why has this tree been pruned and why has it been planted? White mulberry is native to Asia. Was introduced here to feed, no, not the humans, but the silkworms. Yeah. The silkworms, they don't eat mulberry fruits, they eat mulberry leaves. Actually, my grandfather from the neighboring village of Kumanite, by the way, this village here is Rachevci. I don't know if I already said this in the video. So my grandfather from the neighboring village of Kumanite was one of the last people producing silkworms around here. I could still find single silkworm cocoons in his old village house when I played there as a child. And yeah, he would go around and cut those twigs from the mulberries and collect the leaves and basically feed the silkworms and then sell the silk in order to get money to build his house in the town of Treavna, his new house. And yeah, this thing has been pruned regularly until a couple decades ago. This is this mark here. They pruned it here because, no, they didn't use machetes. Machetes are absolutely not typical for Bulgaria. They used axes and hatchets. They would hack off the twigs every 2 or 3 years and feed them to the silkworms. And I suspect that later, when this was done at irregular intervals, the last time probably less than 10 years ago, maybe they did it just to harvest the mulberry fruits. Usually they had a lot of those mulberry trees outside of the village, but if there was one inside the village, I suspect that it also might have been a good variety. We are already more or less in the mulberry season, but a strong frost in April destroyed not just the mulberry flowers, but most other fruit blossoms. So I cannot confirm whether this is a good quality mulberry or not. Now let's talk about the age. It seems like the trunk is fairly massive, so if somebody would drill a hole in it, they might get a proper age estimate. Usually those ancient trees are hollow, but even with pretty well preserved trees, there is a giant mulberry in Sofia. The trunk is thicker than this one and also much taller. It was in front of an old inn, so they didn't use it so much for the silkworms. They used it more for shade. The trunk, I would say, is thicker than this one and also taller than this one. In 2002, they guessed that it's 220 years old, and in 2020 something, they guessed that it's 650 years old. So it aged 400 years in 20 years. So you see, even in modern times, with modern means, in the center of Sofia, maybe the oldest tree in the Bulgarian capital. So they did probably the best possible analysis on it. Yeah, still there is a variation of 200%. So this one, now let's guess the age. I would say definitely over 200 years. Could be maybe 300 years. Mulberries grow, yeah, they grow kind of fast-ish, but not that fast. And you must remember that those were pruned every year or every second year during the height of the growth. So they lost basically most of the branches, most of the twigs every second year when the leaves were fully developed, but had not done a lot of photosynthesis yet. So they grow much slower. So I would say 300 years would be a good estimate for me. Massive tree. Unfortunately, I have nobody to put next to it. Well, can put my giant 46 size 46 crocs next to it, but crocs are not a very good measurement, because this is the huge size 46 they use for Germany. In Spain or in Asia, a size 46 would be much smaller. I would hardly fit in a size 46 in some countries, while this I fit comfortably. But you can see, I mean, this croc is well over a foot wide. It's in front of the tree, and the tree still looks like it's about, well, okay, you have the ivy and the side branches, but the tree is definitely well over 4 crocs wide. If we say that the croc is 35 centimeters, then the tree is well over 1 meter 30. I would say it's even over 1 meter 50. Yeah, not a very exact guesstimate. Wonderful tree. I don't remember it here from previous decades. I must have passed by it many times. Maybe I have admired it at some time, but to be honest, I don't remember it. I remember other ancient mulberry trees around here. Some have survived, some were cut down. Don't remember this one. Tell me what you think about this mulberry tree, folks. Also tell me how old you think it is. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful and in this year incredibly fruit poor villages of the Balkan Mountains. And of course, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.